Welcome to the Constructive Influence podcast, where we connect with the people shaping the built environment. I'm your host, Kim McCain, Director of Business Development for TW Constructors. And today's topic, it's all about project delivery methods, those behind the scenes choices that can make or break your budget, your schedule, and of course, your sanity. Whether you're considering traditional CMAR, design build, or integrated project delivery, understanding the pros, cons, and key differences is critical. Joining me is someone who knows all about this space inside and out, and that's Matt Montgomery. He's a project director at Clayco. Matt has led projects across sectors using every major delivery method, and today he's breaking down how owners like you can make smarter and more strategic decisions. Well, let's go behind for some details. Here's what we're seeing right now. Design build continues to gain traction. Owners are favoring speed and single source accountability. Construction manager at risk is still strong, of course, especially for public sector and healthcare projects. And IPD, while it is less common, is on the rise for complex collaborative builds. High material costs, labor shortages, and the need for earlier coordination are reshaping how we think about project delivery from day one. Let's go behind the bill with my guest, Matt Montgomery of Clayco. You're a project director. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's jump right in. Based on your experience, what are the biggest misconceptions that owners have about CMAR, design build, and IPD?
Yeah, good question. I think about design build. It really gets kind of a negative rap at times. People assume that an owner will lose control over the design, but I really have found in my career it's quite the opposite. Um, it's really a more collaborative way to build, and it really brings a speed to market that a traditional design bid build scenario can't do. Um, I think owners are worried that the contractor is going to make assumptions and make decisions that are best for the contractor, but I think that's inaccurate. It just really takes a degree of collaboration from the owner to get what you want, and really just reduces that time frame, gets you better schedule and cost control.
So that's the biggest misconceptions that owners have about all three of them: construction manager at risk, design build, and IPD.
So I think the biggest misconception about construction manager at risk would be that it's a slow, outdated process. That process definitely has its place in the marketplace. If you're more of a hands-off owner and don't necessarily want to make decisions quickly or be more collaborative, that's a perfect vehicle for project delivery. For project delivery, I should say. Uh,
Mhm.
when you're talking about IPD, it's really more of a contractual. Um, it's really more of a contractual basis, but it's very very similar to design build, where owners and clients, or I'm sorry, clients and contractors and architects are all working together. But I think it can definitely give you a speed to market that the CM at risk can't.
Gotcha. Okay. That's good to know. So, in your role at Clayco, you've worked with clients in a variety of different industries. How do you help them determine which delivery method makes the most sense for them?
Sure, it really depends on level of engagement from the client. If you're very hands-on and you want to be collaborative and innovative, I think design build or IPD is a perfect opportunity for that client. If you're more, I don't want to say unengaged, but if you have a more lengthy approval process, then CM at risk probably makes more sense. But what you lose with the CM at risk is obviously the speed and the flexibility and quick decision making. I'm going to go back to speed a lot on this one, but design build really does give you an opportunity to make real-time decisions quicker than if you were to say traditionally put a project out to bid, get feedback from the market, and then, oh, you realize we have a major problem and need to do a redesign. That process happens more integrative and quickly on a design build or an IPD type project.
Got you. Okay. Well, one challenge that we hear a lot is about team dynamics. I know you talk about speed, but especially in collaborative models like design build or IPD, how do you build trust early so you can prevent those breakdowns later?
I think the biggest way to build trust and to develop a rapport with your client is open and frequent communication. Uh, the more you can communicate, the better you'll be to make sure everyone's heading towards the same common goal, as opposed to kind of working in a silo or a vacuum. The more you can communicate, the more you can be upfront about project goals and requirements, the better off your project's going to turn out.
Absolutely. So you've seen the industry evolve. How long have you been in the game now?
I started back in 2006. I was hired by Clayco directly out of college, and I've been here ever since. So
Ever
it's going
since.
on
Oh,
20
wow.
years. Yeah, going on
Nice.
20 years.
So, from a performance standpoint, cost, schedule, quality, which method has consistently delivered standout results for you?
Uh, I would say there's not one that consistently delivers better than the other. I've had success in my career in both design build projects and design bid build projects, but you really have to approach each project differently, based on the delivery method that you're working under. Uh, but obviously, they each have their pluses and their minuses.
Uh-huh.
And I can't say one gives you a better result than the other. It's just what the end project is, or what's dictating what you're gonna end up doing on a project.
What's been your favorite personally? Like, do you have a favorite project you've worked on, and what project delivery method was used in that?
My favorite project was actually done traditionally design bid build, but I've really enjoyed my time working on design build projects just because it is so innovative and so quick. No day is the same when you're working on a design build project. You're solving the problem of the day almost immediately. Um,
Mhm.
that's not to say that that's why that's my favorite project. My favorite project just happens to be a very cool, unique project here in St. Louis that I actually worked with TW Constructors on.
Oh, Rich, what was it?
It was the Worldwide Technology Project at Westport. That's by far, it's a very, very cool building. It's a kind of building that doesn't get built a lot these days because the market sector for office space is kind of gone away a little bit. So it's really a career making, once in a lifetime project that I got an opportunity to work on. But that happened to be done design bid build, not design build.
Got you. And it is a beautiful building. We're very proud of it.
Yes,
So, I mean,
as we
obviously,
all should be for sure.
yeah, in our portfolio, it's definitely a shining star. So, finally, as tech evolves, how is AI and predictive data starting to influence delivery method decisions?
Sure. I think, what's going to drive an owner's decision making is really, what their end project goals are. Obviously, with more information and more data, that can give you more reason to make one decision over another. Ownership can utilize the tools that are becoming, and the industry is really evolving quite a bit in terms of 4D modeling, and other simulation type tools to kind of allow the ownership. But really, I think what it comes down to is how engaged does the client want to be, or do they have the capability to be. If you're a more engaging client and you need quicker results, quicker speed to market, I think design build or IPD makes a lot of sense. If you've got cumbersome or lengthy approval processes, that it probably doesn't, because it really requires a collaborative approach to the project, and needs to be quick turnaround with quick thinking and um, responses.
So, what kind of projects would those be? Is it like public sector stuff when you
It can
say it's
really
a
be
quick process?
It could really be anything that dictates, quick turnaround. I worked on a project here in St. Louis locally where their lease was expiring, and speed to market was absolutely the most critical thing. Uh, but
Mm.
but the way we accomplished that, it was an incredibly successful project for a large mail order pharmaceutical client. And we were doing procurement on scopes of work before we even knew what the building looked like, when we really just had a footprint and an overall square footage. But that client was incredibly collaborative and engaging throughout the entire process, so that we could make decisions quickly, so that we could, when put as you're making decisions, they're providing you feedback, and it's kind of real time.
That sounds like it was a good kind of stress, maybe.
It was one of my first jobs as a project manager. I loved the project. It's I still drive by it oftentimes in St. Louis when I'm back in town. But yeah, it was awesome. They were great to work with, and they understood the process. So it really takes collaboration on both sides. You can't just hire a design builder or sign someone up for an IPD type project and think, "Oh, my job's done." It's really a two-way street where you're both working together to come to the common conclusion and the common goal to meet the project requirements.
Well, that's great. I'm glad that you're able to break down all three methods of project delivery. I'm sure this is going to be beneficial for people who have upcoming projects coming up, and maybe they've learned something in this conversation they can take to their boards or the other decision makers to try to figure out what's going to be best for them and how they can navigate the building process. So, Matt, you said you came right out of college and started working at Clayco, and you've been there almost 20 years now.
That's correct. Yeah. They really recruited me out of college when I was a senior, and I didn't admittedly know what I wanted to do when I was graduating. I thought I was going to take one path and kind of be more on the design side, but
Oh,
met with some of the senior leadership here and said, maybe I'll give construction a shot. Clayco has really afforded me the opportunity to work coast to coast. It's
mm,
never been a dull day. I've quite literally worked from the West Coast to the East Coast. Uh,
wow.
but yeah, and I started as a project engineer, and have kind of risen to the ranks as a project director now, kind of running larger industrial and commercial projects for the last
Great.
20 years.
That's great. So, what did you major in college? So, you said they recruited you straight out of college. What was your major?
I have a bachelor's in civil engineering from University of Missouri Rolla, now Missouri S&T.
Yeah, my nephew is a mechanical engineering student there. So,
Oh, very
yeah, I
good.
know there's a big engineering school. So, okay. So, you thought you were going to go in a completely different direction, but you
My
found that.
intern, yeah, my internship opportunities were mostly working for public sector jobs, kind of, and I thought I wanted to do the design side, but kind of thought I would get bored with that, and I really got into civil engineering because I liked spending time in the field. So
Okay.
Clayco and my job now really affords me to kind of do both. I get to spend a lot of time in the field and a fair amount of time, kind of troubleshooting problems. Uh, but I love the job. I really wear multiple hats. I'm kind of a project manager, sometimes an attorney, sometimes an accountant, sometimes an engineer, all in one. So it gives me a lot of variety working in this line of work for sure.
Well, that's a lot of fun. And you get to, when you do come to town, you get to work in a very amazing building. That new Clayco building is, woof.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of breathtaking and overwhelming at the same time because it just
Yeah, I took the tour. I was like, how do you even find your way around this place? But it is gorgeous. So yeah,
yeah, for sure.
really, really nice project over there. So thank you once again.
No problem.
TW Constructors, we tailor our approach to the client, not the other way around, of course. And whether we're delivering a fast track lab renovation through CMAR or an integrated hospital build with design build, we bring the right partners to the table early, build in flexibility, and help our clients mitigate risk long before the groundbreak. Once again, I'd like to thank my guest today, Matt Montgomery, project director over at Clayco. And he was gracious enough to give our listeners a clear, grounded view of what smart delivery looks like in 2025 and beyond. And if you're planning a project and you want to explore what delivery methods work best for you, from cost and speed to complexity and collaboration, visit us on our website, twc-stl.com. And make sure you visit our LinkedIn as well. And don't forget to follow the Constructive Influence podcast wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Until next time, I'll see you then.